Okay, I didn't know the link would continue, but thank God. Okay, so guys, I think I was almost done, if not done. Welcome back. Okay, so we're saying you bring their basic salaries, which you computed from this side. So we saw for Alex, you have it as 48. Not here, it's supposed to be under these bonuses. Okay, I think I'm now wrong. Okay. Allow me to remove this. Okay. So we're saying the basic salaries might be organized in this regard. So what we're saying is that the bonuses that you get, for example, for Hasley, we're saying the bonus for Alex is 6,000. So you add it to the basic, which is 48,000. That will give you the money it's supposed to receive. Okay. So let me just add a few columns here, a few rows. Okay, so I'm saying the basic salary. So the guy's basic for Alex, it is 48. So if you're using Hasley premium scheme, the guy is going to go home with 54. Okay. Going to go home with 64. Then Bonnie, we're saying his basic is 72. So he's going to go home with that. Okay. So if there are any questions, please raise them now. Otherwise, we are done with the schemes. Okay. For this guy, saying these lines are the same. Need to figure it. Okay, so the total is that. Someone should mute, please. That's your menu. Let me just mute you guys. So, guys, unless there are any questions, like I said, we're going to try out another. I think I should try out another labor number, and then we call it labor. So, allow me to stop here. For row one, same story. Bring the basics here, and you add them to get the actual payments you're supposed to receive. Okay, so let me see another question. This one is from the questions, the CMA questions that I shared with you in the group. Here it is. You're going to try out one number. I mean, this is the last number. So kindly appreciate it. So there's this part A, describe factors that should be considered when designing costing system. Okay, I've not read that part yet, but you should read it. Okay, the first part, that's topic one. So personally, I'm going to read it tomorrow because with theories, I prefer reading them towards the exam so I don't forget them. But people have different techniques of reading. So someone could be knowing the answers already. So feel free to share. All right. So part B, where I thought most people are interested. Okay. To saying compute or calculate the earnings of each employee, where earnings are based on piece rate and the others. Okay. So before I continue that, there are things that stand out on any system. When you bring in any system, as long as it's new, there are things that stand out. Okay, things like costs always, things like flexibility of the system, things like schedule Okay, when do you expect to bring in the system, and will it be needed by that time? Okay, things like what? Things like technical ability of your employees. Will they ably understand the system you want to bring, or try to install in any way? Okay, so some of those things will stand out, but that's just by the way. Okay, if you can read it, kindly read and bring the exact answers that you have in the outlet. What's someone saying? Place of the job. Yeah, I also think that is a point. How do you explain that? Place of the job. Jack, I'm wondering how we explain that. And I have finished question one. Yes, we have finished the other question. It was about really schemes, and specifically time rates, the one Ashley, Oya, and Rowan. Time requirement of the job. Are you not saying thingy? Jack, are you not giving these points for thingy? Costing methods? Jack, I don't think those points are right, the ones you're giving me. The costing methods. Look at place, the nature of the product, time requirement. I don't think those are the points they're looking for here. This is a costing system, not the costing methods. Okay, comparability, yes, comparability, organizational structure. Yes, Levson, I think you're right. Staff capacity, I think I talked about that briefly. But capacity, I think, is different from technical ability, the management needs. All right. So among others, guys. So Jackie, kindly cross-check again. I don't think your points were right for this part A. So let's go to part B, okay, for purposes of time. Sustainability. Okay, so be sure to Be sure to explain them. All right. So this is what we have. We're saying compute earnings for each employee, and they're interested in the piece work rate. Okay, well, we use the guarantee. Okay, now it's the second time I'm saying the guarantee question at 80%, and then the normal ones that we know, the Hustler bonus and okay, they only asked for Hustler. So we shall also do only Hustler, but be sure to try out Rowan and the other guy. Okay, so as usual, just look at the information and try to pick out what you really need, the summaries. Okay. So I think I'll just scroll very stable to my worksheet. Okay, no, you don't have to really apologize, Jackie. Okay, I think to help you more, if you in future, if you find that question in exam by any chance, I'm sure you'll be the one to pass it. You may even fail it for us to have given you the answers now. What good systems must have? Okay, now I don't know what that message was. Where are you getting this from? Becky, the answers, I don't know that even the question, by the way, I don't know that they're in the handout. It's supposed to be the topic one. I look at costing and management. Okay, so let me borrow this to my worksheet. Okay, so if I to carry this information to my worksheet, I can just share my worksheet and you look at it. Okay, and we start. So, of course, like I always tell you, once you read the requirement and it doesn't make sense, if you're saying piecemeal and you've never seen anything like piecemeal, There's no need for you to attempt it. Okay. Got it. Cool. So this is the question that you have. Okay. You're given several employees and you're given this information and they want you to find piecemeal using the guarantee. Okay, let me bring the required bit also, I think. Okay, somebody should, if there are any chats in the group, probably asking for the link or anything like that, kindly respond to them. So this is what they want. Okay, so let's start. Right, thanks. So let's begin with piecemeal. Now with piecemeal, we all know that what we are looking out for is really output cost. Okay, meaning that we're looking at the cost or the amount that they pay for each unit that you produce. That's piecemeal. Okay, and the rate is based on the output. Okay, so so if you look through the information, you're given hours worked, you're given rate of pay per hour. So this one is time rate. You're given units of output. Okay, what they produced. Then below here, they're saying the time allowed. Clearly, that's the standard. Okay, for each unit of output is 10 standard minutes. Okay, that for each unit, you're going to use 10 minutes to produce it. And for purposes of piecemeal calculation, you're going to say, they're saying for each minute is valued at 50 shillings. So they've given us what we call the piece rate. Okay, now you look at the output per time, whatever, per cost. Okay, so for piece rate, therefore, okay, for piece rate, you're saying piece rate. What we're interested in is the output, okay, which was given. So if I may just bring this very information here, I'll just edit it accordingly. This is the information. I don't need the time rate. Okay. I may also not need the hours, but we shall see. Okay. So we're saying we are basing our payment on the units produced. Okay. So therefore, our payment in this case will be what? If you're looking at a basic payment, Okay. Here they're saying each minute is valued at 50 shillings. Okay. But remember at piece rate, we're interested in what? Output. Actually, cost per unit. Okay. So for any piece rate, you're looking for cost per unit. You want to know how much does a single unit cost me. So I'm trying to figure out information from here. Right? They're saying the time allowed for each unit is 10. And for purposes of piecework, they're saying each minute is valued at 50 shillings. So what does that mean? It means that one unit like this will cost ideally, okay, should take, say cost, should take 10 minutes. Okay, from this statement, that for one unit that you produce should take you 10 minutes. But again, they're saying that each minute here, that 1 minute costs 50 shillings as far as piecemeal is concerned. So what does that mean? It means that therefore 1 unit will cost, okay, will cost 10 times 50 shillings. isn't it? 1 minute will cost 500. 500 what? 500 shillings. Yes. Okay. That is it. So we're saying, therefore, our piece rate is 500 shillings per unit. Simple as that. So that's your piece rate. I hope we are together here. So let me just put the figure here, 500. Okay, so my basic pay there for these guys to just be ideally, if there was nothing like guarantee, if it was just piece rate, if you wanted to compute wages based on piece rate, this is how it would be. You look at the output times the rate you're charging for each output, which is 500 shillings. And you have that. Victor would have 100 times 500. Okay. Then Boaz would have the 100 times till 500. And then Benson produced 100, and you're saying each unit is at 500. Okay, so these are the payments that will go home with if it wasn't guarantee. If they had said just this piece rate. Okay, so let's apply the guarantee bit. Now the guarantee bit, this is how it works out. What you're saying, the guarantee, the minimum payment that the guy is supposed to take home. Okay. Guarantee, this is what it means. That if somebody is lazy and therefore is producing very few units, okay, this is where the guarantee bit comes in. That he has a minimum payment he's supposed to take home. Whether he's doing so terribly, he cannot be paid below a particular amount. That's what we call guarantee. Okay. So this guarantee thing, like I've just explained, one of the disadvantages is that people just become lazy as long as they're assured of their small amount. They just work the way they want and they go home with the small money. Okay. So let's see how it applies. So for minimum payment, what they're calling the guarantee, they're saying it is at 80% of pay calculated on units of output basis. Okay, so this one is straight. So you need this basic payment, which of course is the pay that is calculated on units of the output basis. I think that is really clear. So if you're looking at 80%, therefore, to be 80% times what is supposed to be the output. Okay. Okay, so it's pay calculated on units of output basis. All right. So unless there are any questions, I don't feel I'm doing this right. There's a way it looks so obvious that no one is going to get. This is not supposed to be based on the standard output. But if you're taking 15 hours, I think it's based on standard output. Yeah. Okay. So I beg your pardon on this. I don't think I'm right. You can't base the 80% on the pay calculated on units of output, on the actual output. It has to be the time allowed. Okay. Let me see what we're given hours. Don't we convert the amount? Which amount? You don't convert anything because this is what happens. That for now, we don't need hours. And the reason is clear that for basic payment, I mean piece rate, we pay based on the units produced. So if this is your output, that you have 150, you have 100, like that, and we're saying how much are we paying for each unit, okay? And they said that as far as they call it, as far as the question is concerned, they said that 1 unit will take you 10 minutes. That's the standard. And we all know that when they are setting rates, they base on the standard. Okay, so we're supposed to therefore use the 10 and the 50 shillings, which is for each minute is 50 shillings, for you to know how much you're supposed to be paying for each unit. So Zoom use, I don't think we're supposed, or we cannot convert to hours yet because we don't need it. Okay, the information was clear. They just said that the standard is that for 1 unit you use 10 minutes. And they're saying if it's piece rate, they're saying each minute there is going to be charged for only 50 shillings. So we found the piece rate. So I don't know what you really try to say here. We are budgeting for piece rate, not time. Okay, so Duke has answered you, I think. Right? So this takes me to the other thing. Okay. So, but the statement is really clear, saying that the piece rate, the piece work rate, with earnings guarantee of 80% of pay, calculated on units of output. So I think this one is clear. I don't have to do much here. So it's supposed to be 80% of this, but it doesn't apply. I think they used the wrong statement here. I should have tried to put it differently. Otherwise, it's supposed to get 80% of each. And of course, the 80% will always be lower than what you're computing. And since the guarantee method says that you take the higher, the guarantee scheme, so that you take the higher of the basic pay. And the minimum payment, Okay, so this is a guarantee thing. Say that you take the higher of the basic pay and the minimum payment. So automatically here is supposed to take the basic pay because 80% of anything will always be lower than the other thing. So meaning that our final answer therefore, what these guys are supposed to be paid is that. Okay. Although I still have my doubts on this because there's all this thing looks so easy. It's supposed to be different. What were we doing? Seems a bit complicated too. Aren't we supposed to multiply the number of units times hours? Then multiply standard rate times hours used that we get. Shakira, no. Okay. This is a simple thing, by the way. I don't know. That's why even it has 4 marks. The mark should tell you clearly that what you're doing is supposed to be simple. Okay, we're saying it's supposed to use piece rate. Okay, piece work rates. Piece work rates are based on the piece rate. Okay, and the piece rate is given by the output. It's given sorry by the cost per output. That's how we get the piece rate. You look at the cost per unit. Okay, so for piece rate, if you don't have cost per unit, then you're supposed to find it. And after getting that value of cost per unit, it's the one that you attach on the units produced to come up with how much is supposed to be paid. Okay, just like under time rates. For time rates, you're supposed to have a time rate, which is given by you're looking at the cost per hour or per time or per minute per second. Okay, that rate there is supposed to have it. It is cost per hour. So the cost per hour is supposed to be multiplied by the number of hours taken to come up with a figure you're supposed to be paying them. So I hope we're getting a difference here, Shakira. For piece rates, you need the piece rate itself, which is given by the unit per hour, cost per unit. And that rate is supposed to be multiplied by the number of units that you produced to come up with the actual payment. So I don't know what is confusing people here, but that is it. Okay. So I feel this statement was a bit really simple for us. They should have made it harder by saying that 80% of pay calculated on standard units expected or on output units expected. Not very straight like this. I think this one is so easy that even if you didn't compute the minimum payment, you already know that you're supposed to pay this basic payment. Okay, so the guarantee says that you pay the higher of the minimum payment and the the basic payment that they've computed yourself. Yes, Daphne, kindly feel free to ask a question. Akelo Dafin, Imi, kindly put down your hand and ask your question. Okay, you're not saying anything. I hope it was an accident or something. So guys, this is how we do piece work. Let's go to Hustly bonus and we see how we can still go about it right now. Okay, so for Hustly bonus, as usual, okay, if I just take you back to this information, it's going to be right. As we do Hustly again. So firstly, we already know we have an idea. Okay, we're all interested in the time saved. After getting the time saved, then we compute. Okay. So here we have the rate, which is the rate paid per hour. I mean, that is what we need as far as time rates is concerned. Okay, so given output, that's not really the big deal. The big deal is now on computing the standard time or the time allowed. Okay, this was the actual time. Now we need to compute time allowed. Okay, they're saying time allowed. Time allowed, I call it standard time. So let's see how it goes. They're saying time allowed for each unit of output is 10 minutes. Okay, so still here we have rates in hours, so we shall convert our minutes to hours. Okay, so for Ronald, this is how it's going to be. Okay, I don't want to really do too much. Let me just say it here. We are given the output, so we're saying 1 unit. Okay, will take or should take standard. Take 10 minutes. Okay, just from this statement, 10 minutes. They're saying this 10 minutes to be in hours. So we all know how to convert 10 minutes to hours. So we just say 1 unit. Take 10 divided by 60. Okay, this time they become hours. I hope we all know how to get that. Okay, if you don't, feel free to raise the questions again. Okay, so I'm saying therefore, let me just summarize it again. 1 unit should be, it should take 1 out of 6 hours. Right? Then I apply. For Ronald, we are saying time taken is going to be 1 divided by 6 times the number of units produced, which is 150. Okay, I can just sample it here where it's coming from. Saying Ronald, the number of units that he produced are 150. Okay, so they should take 1 divided by 6 times the 150 hours. So let's multiply the fraction by the 150. So it's what I've just shown you here. So it's the same for all these others. So it's just 100 times 1/6 for Victor and so forth and so forth. Okay, so I hope we're fine. Let me just remove the decimal points. Okay, I don't know the hundreds. So this is what you have, right? So we're saying time saved therefore. Time saved. Okay, time saved is given by the standard time, which is the time allowed, minus the time that they took. Isn't it? So this is 10. So they all have time saved because their actual is less than the standard. Okay, so still, okay, for this one I'm being fast because we already looked at it and I hope we're fine. Okay, so that is it. So we can get their basic pay. Okay, now the basic pay is given by the hour rate, which is 15,000 for Ronald, okay, and Victor. Okay, the rate times the time taken. And the time taken in this case is 15 for Ronald. That's how we get basic payment. It's given by the rate times the time taken. Or someone can say it's the time taken times the rate. Okay. So it's the same for Boaz, same for Benson. I hope we're fine till this part. So I'm going to get the bonus. For the bonus, it is as simple as it's 50%. So we're saying the bonus, okay, it is 50% of time saved. Okay, time saved times the rate or the hour rate. Okay, that's the formula. Or you can just say you first get the time saved times the rate alone, and then after you attach the percentage. Okay, so but there's no need to do it here since it's only one single scheme they're interested in. So saying therefore our bonus is going to be 50% times time saved. Time saved for now is 10 times the rate, which is 15,000. You have that. For Victor, we're saying it's still 50%. Time saved is 7 times the hourly rate, which is 15,000. Okay, so it's the same for all the others. So let me just drag. Okay. So guys, unless you have any questions, that's how we do this part. Then after you get the total payment or the wage payable. Wage payable is given by the basic plus the bonus. Okay, basic plus the bonus only. So the guy is going out with 300 for Ronald, the others like that. All right, so guys, if you have any questions in labor, kindly ask it now so that we do what? We close labor posting. Okay, I've seen this guarantee thing is very common. So kindly take in it and try to practice a few numbers on it. Okay, like I said, for this particular question, it was very easy. It was very easy. It's supposed to make it harder than this. Because it can just be so obvious. Yeah. Okay, so since there are no questions at depreciation. Depreciation. What do you mean, Margarine? What do you mean? More clarity on guarantee. Okay. Or depreciation. Okay. For depreciation, do I have a question here? For depreciation, what happens is it's also under piecework or piece rate. Okay. So let me first talk about the guarantee. I'll come back to depreciation. For guarantee, we're saying you're supposed to determine the minimum payment. Okay. Minimum payment usually is a standard that they set, saying that if somebody doesn't meet the standard or doesn't exceed in terms of units beyond something, shall we pay him a minimum of that particular amount? The Torino worker is from home straight, he comes at work, even if he doesn't do anything, even if he doesn't produce anything, the guy will get that minimum payment. Okay, so usually it creates this kind of laziness thing. I already said the disadvantage. Okay, but also we're saying if somebody works beyond the minimum payment, in this case, let me try to create a scenario from here. Kindly bear with me. I want to adjust this information so that I pull out the issue of guarantee properly. Okay. So assuming that the guarantee was paid on hourly rate, for example. Okay, we're saying our minimum payment is based on, it was based on hourly rate. Hourly. Okay, if it was based on hourly rate, this is how to look like. I need to borrow back this information of hourly rate. So let me have a column 4. the rate. Okay. So assuming that was our information. Of course, the basic is saying, okay, did I substitute something? Need to insert it. Okay, assuming you had this information and they're saying that your minimum payment under guarantee, instead of saying 80%, is based on the pay that you have computed or calculated based on the output. And they said maybe the minimum payment is based on the hours worked. Okay, this is how it would look like. That the minimum payment will now be this times 15. Okay. So that is what they have worked. For the rate, okay. For the output, okay. So this is what they have. Okay, let me give it maybe 20%, but I think this is too much. This is okay. Let me give you the percentage. Let's say 50%. Okay, of basic pay. Still looks big, but we shall go with that one. Okay. So assuming it was like that, 50%. Okay. So this is what would happen. That you're saying, what was the basic pay when you use the output? This is the payment. Okay. What is your minimum payment supposed to take home? Excuse me. It's supposed to be this. Okay. So what happens is the guarantee base, this is how it works. You choose the higher of the basic and the minimum. So in this case, our minimum is 122. Sorry, 102 of 500, and yet the basic payment is actually 25,000. So meaning that what these guys will take home now, what they will be paid is the higher of the two, which is in this case to be this. Okay. In this case to be still 75. So like that. Okay. There are scenarios where to come out well that you find that some people the minimum is really, they vary. Like the minimum sometimes is higher, then for another person minimum is lower. To pull out the scenario very well. But for now, since all of them are still higher than the real payment, then it makes it look obvious, but it's supposed to be actually different. The basic pay plus bonus. How did we get the okay? So thanks for answering that. So if I may go to Vanessa's question of the differentiation. Now, differentiation, the way it works is really, in my opinion, okay. I have 1 minute on this link, so I think I'll talk about the differentiation in the next link. Okay, so Vanessa, kindly bear for now.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Pardon on how you've gotten the minimum payment.
Okay. In this particular case, I just try to modify the question. Okay, I say that if they had said that the minimum or the guarantee is based on the 50% of the 50% based on the hour rate. Okay, meaning you're using time rate to determine the minimum. It will be as easy as this, that you get 50% times the time rate, which is the rate times the hours taken. Okay, but the previous question was saying it's 80% of the pay of, if I may just look at it here. I don't want to say what I don't. Okay, I removed it. I think I already removed it. Here, the piece work rate with earnings guarantee at 80% of pay, calculated on units of output basis. So output, we already saw, we computed it here. We say this is what you get, and they're saying 80% is the minimum. So we'll just get 80% of this, and I'll have it as my minimum. Okay, and I'm saying there, okay, the whole point of guarantee doesn't really come out well. Right, so here I was just trying to create a scenario, but still, as you can see, I think it has worked out better. That you take the minimum because it is higher than